This is Nathan. He turned a side hustle mowing lawns into a $500,000 per year business. And the crazy part is, it only took 2 years for him to do it.
We'll make well over $500,000 in revenue this year. We've done well over 10 grand in a day. Probably want to make about like 30 or so bucks an hour. We realized the market price was about 80 to 120 an hour.
In this episode, I drive to Eagle, Idaho to meet Nathan and find out how he's been able to grow Eagle Lawn Care so fast.
In the business, we mow anywhere from 20 to 30 lawns a day, and we mow well over 100 per week.
And here's another surprise. Nathan actually used online marketing to land his first customers.
I just watched a bunch of YouTube on all kinds of things, and I just implemented different tactics, like just adding, a bunch of.
In this episode of Founder Driven, Nathan shares how to get paying clients online, even if you're just starting out, how to scale a lawn care business from $0 to $500K, and the overlooked service every lawn care business should add. If they like making money, that is.
And we've done well over 10 grand in a day, and we did that about 3 days in a row.
This is Founder Driven. Nathan, thanks
for
having me and inviting me here. Tell me about the business that you started.
Yeah, I started Eagle Lawn Care just about 2.5 years ago. Just hired on a bunch of friends, and I just started a website, and we got a bunch of traffic through there. And then through, a little bit of Google marketing, and we just, started it going. And
I'm assuming Google Maps or Google My Business, is that kind of what started driving?
Yeah, so Google Business Profile and then just search engine optimization.
Did the website start getting you calls first, or did you set up the Google My Business first?
It was a little bit of both, mostly the Google My Business, and then afterwards just a little bit of SEO. I just watched a bunch of YouTube on all kinds of things, and I just implemented different tactics, like just adding, a bunch of services related to your services, keywords into those services, and then just getting, like 10, 15 reviews, getting that up to like 25 so it'd really start ranking. Just asking friends for reviews, adding photos, posting updates, and then with the website, just building a nice clean website with, a couple articles just to hopefully get ranking up there.
To get his first customers, Nathan used one of the most powerful online marketing tactics available, a free tool called Google My Business. Google My Business lets you into the local pack or map section of the Google search results. So when people type in terms like lawn care services in Eagle, Nathan's business is one of the first to come up. Setting up this account is like creating a social media page. You'll add information like your business name, address, hours of operation, phone number, photos, and a description of the services you offer. Unfortunately, this is where most owners stop. But if you want to get your listing near the top of Google, you'll need some reviews. Nathan says you'll need 15 to 25 reviews to gain traction in most markets. Hey, this is Brett from Founder Driven. Would you like to help me out? Right now, I'm driving across the country meeting with entrepreneurs who want to share their story in a video like the one you're watching right now. I'm actively looking for founders in Utah, California, Nevada, Oregon, Colorado, and yes, even North Dakota. So if you are someone or know someone with a business that should be featured, let me know about them in the comments or click on the resource box just below this video for my contact info. This is completely free, but I am looking for people who really do want to share their entrepreneurial journey and business knowledge with our audience and want to be transparent about the good and the challenges of running a business so that it makes a helpful video. So if you can help, it would be greatly appreciated. Now let's get back to this video. So when you started out, what services did you offer in the beginning? I'm assuming you started with lawn mowing and then expanded into some of these other services later.
In the beginning, we did a lot of shrub trimming and mowing, and that was basically it. So the first lawn I got, we weren't sure how to price it. So me, my friend, and my brother all went over there, and then we're like, we'll just ask him what he's currently paying and then just match it. And then, as I got more capacity, then we were able to do some other services.
Is that what you would recommend somebody that was just starting out with their lawn business, kind of start with the simple ones and then go to these more complex jobs later?
Yeah, so it depends on what you're looking for, because if you're looking for, sticking with a one-man show or just a couple of guys, then you'll want to do more complex projects so you make more profit. But if you're looking to scale, have lots of team members or contractors, then you want to just stick with the simple services.
So when you started getting your first calls through Google My Business and your website, how did you handle that process? Did you just go over to a house, make a guess on like what your profit would be?
At the time, I was like, I probably want to make about like 30 or so bucks an hour doing this. And
Okay.
I got to pay my guys like 16 or so to drive me out there.
Yep.
So I was like, I'll just quote it at a good price that I think we'll get about 30 an hour at. And then we went from there. We realized the market price was about 80 to 120 an hour, not 30. So we were underbidding a little bit, which helped get us off the ground.
Were you ever worried that lawn services was oversaturated, like there's too many people doing this already?
Yeah, so I was 100% worried about it, but I've worked super hard to make our service stand out. So the main thing is a lot of lawn guys can do a good job with their service, but they won't pick up their calls, they won't answer their emails, they're just not very professional when they show up. So just making a professional face for your company and then answering the phones, that makes us, twice as good as most services because they don't even pick up their phone.
What do you think is the highest profit service you could offer as a
Snow
lawn care
removal.
business? Snow removal, no kidding.
Yeah, snow removal. Yep, so snow removal is awesome because it's low competition. So that goes back to, if you want to make more profit, then you'll do more complex services. Or, if there's low supply of this service, then there's going to be high demand for your service.
Yep.
So 100%, if you want to generate more profit, do more complex services.
Scaling a lawn care business, scaling a service business, any service business is hard to do.
Yeah.
What is your advice on growing this type of business?
So when I first started, I really thought, okay, if we got jobs in, people would just do a good job, but a good job is different to everyone.
Yeah.
So just making sure what you do for the customer is a good job to them. So implementing things like when you get there, text them and just say, hey, we're here at your property. After service, please let us know if there's anything to improve. So just solving problems before the problems even come, so then the customers don't freak out when you leave their property or whatnot.
Let's say that somebody wants to scale from, they're at zero right now, their big goal is 800,000 in revenue per year. What do you think they should focus on in year one right away?
Kind of like I did, before you even get, trucks, equipment or whatnot, you first want to market your services, see if there's even a buyer. And then, if you can get, about 3 to 5 people reaching out saying they're interested, you probably have a good idea. For example, I started a location up in Twin Falls, and I have a contractor up there taking care of the lawns. But when we started marketing there, pouring money into Google and whatnot, then there's just not as much market in that area as there is in the Treasure Valley. So making sure there's actually enough business to be able to scale your business. Because if there's people not looking for lawn care, you can't scale your business.
Yep.
So just finding the correct location and then marketing and then, doing all the operation stuff after that.
What do you think is the biggest challenge of running a lawn care business?
Think of running a lawn care business like, directing like an orchestra. Sometimes in an orchestra you'll have some people falling behind or some instruments not playing as well. So you kind of got to let them know like, hey, we got to pick up our game and whatnot. And so from that perspective, it's just organizing it correctly and then just keeping an eye on everything to make sure things run smoothly with your office, with your contractors. And then if you have a general manager, making sure they're meeting their metrics, hitting the goals, because otherwise your business won't grow. Because if you're not making sure to lead that growth or incentivize the growth, then it's not going to grow.
What's the biggest mistake you've made so far in your business, do you think?
The biggest mistake I made was hiring the wrong people. A lot of people don't want the best for you, and they honestly don't want the best for themselves sometimes too. So they'll just do dumb things and like mess up things and not treat customers well. So just being very careful in the hiring process.
Okay.
So that's 100% my biggest mistake.
What's something that you wish you knew when you started out?
So when I first started this business, I thought it was gonna be, really straightforward. Is like, go, get the job done, people are gonna be happy, people are gonna pay. I wish I knew that people aren't gonna pay, you're gonna have to chase after them. So just implementing, get a free software. There's lots of free softwares out there like Copilot or Java that you can get for, up to 50 users. Get people's cards on file, get them into a system, run it professionally from the start so you're not chasing after payments, forgetting to do services or unorganized. So just be organized from the front, make sure you're professional from the front, because it's more about than just getting the customer, it's actually caring for the customer.
How important is are reminders like that to like revenue?
So yeah, last year, there was quite a few. So there was about 5,000 we couldn't collect. And then there was about, 15 grand that if we would have not chased after, we would have not collected, because some of these are commercial accounts and we were following up, like every other day for like a month until we could like climb up the ladder.
Do any of your friends ask you for business advice?
Yes, they do. Yeah.
What advice do you give them?
So usually what I tell them is that if they want a big headache and suffer for like 2-3 years, then they should definitely start a business and do it. But if they just want to make money quickly, a job is probably the best way to go. So most of them end up not starting a business, and if they do, usually they don't follow through with it.
What made you follow through with your business?
I was doing online school and I was finishing very quickly, so I had a lot of extra time in the day. Okay. And I honestly, once I started getting those calls, I'm like, I can either get serious with my life or I can keep being a bum. I mean, it's nice to make money too, but mainly I just, wanted to have a purpose, really.
Thanks for riding along on this road trip. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe so you never miss an adventure. And if you have a founder in mind that we should visit next, drop a comment below. Until next time, keep dreaming big and driving toward your goals. We'll see you on the road.